Become a patron at www.patreon.com/Golden Era Bookworm for hard to find books, scans of rare photos and articles on the golden era of bodybuilding. Hi everybody, Golden Era Bookworm here. Today we continue with the Sergio Oliva Golden Era series, focusing on his incredible V-taper and how he developed it. Now I've already talked about Sergio Oliva's wonderful wide shoulder frame and his shoulder development, as well as his tiny hip structure and his tiny muscular waist. Now to top it all off, to top that V-taper off, he developed a sweeping, thick, muscular back, and such was the development of his back that he used to taunt his competitors backstage. And there are many stories of how Sergio teased Arnold in the Olympia backstage, and we're going to talk about that later. Today's focus is on his mid-60s back routine and the effect that it had on the development of his back. I mean, and what better way to show it? I mean, look at this phenomenal lat spread. It is just incredible. This front lat spread, damn, wow. He could almost spread, when he spreads those lats, he could almost glide all the way to Cuba, for God's sake. Look at the thickness and the sweep on those lats. Incredible. So let's have a look at Sergio's back routine from the mid-60s. So as I've mentioned previously, Sergio in his early bodybuilding career trained under the PHA system under the tutelage of Bob Guida. But after his progress stalled, he looked toward the Golden Era legends, such as Dave Draper, shown here, as well as Larry Scott and Harold Poole, and started adopting some of their techniques. I mean, Dave Draper, the blonde bomber, as shown here, was known for his incredible back development, as clearly shown in this three-quarter back pose. Beautiful, beautiful development of Dave Draper, and his back was just, it was just a solid mass of muscle. It was phenomenal. And no wonder that Sergio looked up to such Golden Era champs. And we're going to look at his own development, as well as the routines that he mainly used in the 60s. Now, if we look at Sergio's overall back development, whether we look at it from the back or from the front, I mean, it was so massive that you can see it in both sides. I mean, you can see how thick his lumbar spine is. These snake-like structures running all the way down, all the way from his neck, all the way down to his waist. We can see the beautiful development of the teres minor, major, etc., the rhomboids, the sweeping lats, the trapezius. It's all there. A beautiful, beautiful developed and thick muscular back from a back shot or from the front. From the front, we can clearly appreciate the development of the lats, as I mentioned earlier. They're like wings. He could just take off anywhere. Incredible. And of course, with the bone structure that he had, the wide shoulder frame, the tiny waist. I mean, that is a V-taper. That is a V-taper. And that's what he was known for, his incredible proportions. The mythical myth. I mean, that just sums it up, doesn't it? That V-taper, when he hits that, when he hit that back pose, whichever it was, back or front, everyone just was wow, impressive. I mean, it's just all there. The genetics allowed him to develop these phenomenal proportions. Incredible physique. Now, when we look at Sergio Oliva's mid-60s back routine, we can clearly see the influence of the Golden Era champs again. He used high sets for low reps, especially in the compound exercises such as the bent over row, which he performed for 5 sets of 6 reps, only just 6 reps. This allowed him to use heavy weight. The upright row similarly allowed him to use very heavy weight, and of course he had done plenty of that kind of exercise through all his years of Olympic weightlifting. He performed that exercise for 5 sets of 6 reps, and of course the upright row would work his traps further. Not that they were already not developed, they definitely were with all that weightlifting. And of course the bent over row, as previously listed, would obviously work on the thickness of the back, the rhomboids, as well as the lats. The weighted chins. Now Sergio was known for doing tons of chins later on in his career, but early on he would only use 4 sets times 10 reps to develop his V-taper. He would also use the angular chin, and this is where you use a V-bar and hook it onto a chin-up bar and hit your lower lats by actually chinning up to the bar, but bringing your sternum to the V-bar as as taught by Vince Gironda. Vince Gironda was a big proponent of the angular chin. This would allow you to hit your lower lats. Not that Sergio necessarily early on in his career had great lower lat development. I think he had more of a high lat development, which again added to his V-taper. Another interesting exercise that he did was using the Wader 3-in-1 ISO exercise kit, which basically is just this T-like machine which allows you to do isometrics on it, to push or pull. I'm a big fan of owning old antique equipment, and I actually don't have one of these, but there's a great photo of Sergio floating around where he's actually doing the isometric rows, where he's actually pulling on this T-like machine, and it's not moving, but in doing so he's working his back, and he would hold this isometric contraction for time, and it is said that the isometric rowing not only builds a lot of power but also adds a lot to the striations and definition, and he would perform this for 3 sets. Now, what is the effect of this mid-60s back routine? Well, let's have a look.
What the hell are you?
Yes, absolutely. What the hell was Sergio? It is well known that Sergio would taunt Arnold Schwarzenegger in the late 60s during the Mr. Olympia competitions. It is said that when Arnold saw Sergio for the first time backstage, he was instantly defeated. That is the result of these early bodybuilding routines. Sergio was known to do chin-ups just as a warm-up. It is said that after Arnold was defeated, Arnold actually went and visited Sergio in Chicago in the Duncan YMCA, and he saw Sergio perform 10 sets of 10 to 20 rep sets of chin-ups as a warm-up to his workouts. This was his warm-up. Can you imagine that? I mean, Arnold was just blown away. He couldn't believe the work capacity of Sergio, and no wonder he developed, his incredible physique the way he did. I mean, he was just a monster. This guy was incredible. Like, everything was incredible about him. His genetics, his work capacity, and his just overall take at bodybuilding. He really enjoyed it, and to him it was just child's play. That's the worst thing. I mean, not only was he an incredible physique to admire, but he did it with such ease, and it's because of his incredible foundation to strength, which I've already gone through in several videos, and his work capacity, as I've already mentioned as well. He would work all day, and I mean, the first training style he used was PHA, which is extremely taxing. So his work capacity was incredible. Now, I haven't talked about Sergio's later routines, and I know that a lot of you may actually say, oh, but Sergio did this and Sergio did that. For example, he did all these chin-ups, 10 sets of chin-ups as a warm-up. Well, these were techniques he used later on in the later 60s. I'm only talking about right now his initial routines from the mid-60s when he just started his bodybuilding career. So I hope you appreciate, because this is new information that is not necessarily known. A lot of Sergio's routines that are known are from the late 60s and the 70s. However, from the early 60s, because he was with the initially with York and with the AAU, a lot of these techniques are unknown. So this is why I'm bringing a lot of this unknown information to light. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't to the Golden Era Bookworm, and leave me a comment, and thank you again for watching. If you'd like to donate, please use PayPal. The link is below in the description, and you can also become a patron if you want to support my work at www.patreon.com/Golden Era Bookworm, also in the link below. Again, hope you've enjoyed watching the video, and that's it for me. This is the Golden Era Bookworm. Bye for now.